You know, we all think we know what it means to be mature. But what if there's a concept that completely separates just getting older from actually getting wiser? So today, we're going to dive deep into this powerful idea of Rüşd, a term that might just change how you think about what it really means to grow up.
Huh. Does this sound familiar to anyone? It's a pretty common idea, right? This belief that a huge life event, like getting married, is somehow going to magically flip a switch and cure immaturity. But our source material says this is a huge mistake, one that usually just creates even more problems. So what's the piece of the puzzle that's missing here?
Well, it all boils down to a distinction that we, frankly, almost always overlook. There is a massive difference between being a biological adult and being a truly mature person who can actually navigate the world. Let's break that down.
So, on this slide, we see the two key ideas side by side. On the left, you've got Büluğ. Think of this as the biological finish line. You've reached the age where you're physically an adult. But then on the right, you have Rüşd. And this is something so much deeper. It's about being ready mentally, morally, intellectually, having the actual ability to manage your life, your stuff, and your choices. And here's the kicker. You can absolutely have the first one without even a hint of the second.
Okay, so what is Rüşd exactly? To really get it, the original meaning of the word itself gives us this absolutely brilliant metaphor. I mean, how perfect is that? Rüşd isn't the destination itself, it's the ability to find the path. It's that internal compass, that mental map that helps you walk through the desert of life's challenges without getting totally lost. You see, a person with Rüşd isn't just older, they actually know which way to go. And if we dig a little deeper, the source shows us that Rüşd is really made up of these four core parts. It's about having a clear direction, it's about the wisdom to make good calls, having a developed mind both ethically and rationally, and, maybe most importantly, having the clarity to see what's true and what's not. It's basically the ultimate toolkit for navigating life. But wait, there's more. Rüşd isn't just this one big idea. The source we're looking at actually breaks it down even further into three essential pillars. Three types of maturity that have to work together to build a complete, well-rounded person. Okay, so here they are. You've got maturity in belief, maturity in morals, and maturity in intellect. Each one is a totally critical part of our development, and true Rüşd, well, that requires all three. So let's dig into what each of these really means. So the first pillar, maturity and belief, is all about how you believe, not just what you believe. And this quote just nails it. It's saying that true maturity isn't about blindly inheriting your faith or just doing what you're told. It's about actively digging in, thinking for yourself, and arriving at your own conclusions. It's the difference between just copying someone and truly understanding something.
All right, next up, moral maturity. This is where your principles really hit the pavement. It means having a solid ethical core that guides you in everything you do. How you handle your money, how you engage in society, how you teach and learn. It's about actually living your values, not just, having them on a poster. And finally, we have intellectual maturity. Now, this is so much more than just being book smart. We're talking about wisdom. It's that ability to look at a situation and not just see what's happening, but to understand why it's happening, the deep down causes and effects. It's about seeing the big picture and making smart calls based on that bigger understanding. Okay, now this is where the whole idea gets really fascinating. The source takes this deeply personal concept of maturity and asks a huge question. What if we applied this not just to a person, but to an entire country? Just think about that for a second. It's kind of a wild thought, right? If one person can lack judgment or act without a moral compass, or just fail to think things through, couldn't a whole society do the exact same thing? The source says yes, absolutely. So what does a mature country even look like? Well, according to the source, you can spot it by these four principles. A mature or Rashid state runs on justice that applies to everyone equally. It puts people in charge based on what they can do, not who they know. It's a government that actually listens to its people. And most importantly, it's a place where the law is applied fairly and consistently. These are the signs of a nation that has achieved Rüşd. So let's bring all of this back home, back to us. We've gone all the way from personal growth to political philosophy, but the real heart of Rüşd is about finding your own path. And honestly, that is more relevant right now than maybe ever before.
When you boil it all down, here's what it is. Rüşd is your internal toolkit for making sense of reality. It's that developed ability to see clearly, to judge wisely, and to do the right thing. It has nothing to do with your age and everything to do with your ability. It's really the ultimate goal of growing as a person. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. In our world of constant noise and information overload, developing our own rüşd, our own internal compass to find what's true, might just be the single most important skill we can ever learn. So, how do you find your path?